Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining our virtual mass sewing fest today. And for those who might not know me, my name is Sofia Neves, and I'm currently leading TOM FIU. And a little bit about TOM FIU is that we're actually a local group that is at Florida International University in Miami, but we're part of a larger network called TOM Global. And TOM Global, TOM itself stands for Tikkun Olam Makers. And today for this event, we decided to partner with OS Open Style Lab and the Hearing and Speech Center of Florida in order to talk about clear masks. Are they important? How are they useful? And to see about an example of clear masks today. So I'll pass first to Betty from the Hearing and Speech Center of Florida, who is working with us to donate these clear masks. Betty?
Hi, everybody. Very nice to meet you all and have you here. I'm really very proud that you reached out to us. We are, let me tell you a little bit about the organization, and I'm actually going to talk about the mask and the benefits of the mask. We are an 84-year-old nonprofit serving this community, Miami-Dade County. We are a specific organization focused on individuals with disabilities, serving individuals with disabilities and special needs. And we are audiologists, speech pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists. We're also doing ABA and other therapy services. Our clients are really any age range from 0 to elderly, from having a child that has a diagnosis of autism to an adult that has a hearing loss, to maybe someone who has a neuromuscular condition and needs physical therapy and maybe has some cognitive effects as well. But we also see typical individuals who maybe just have a little bit of a delay and just need us to help them get through and move forward in their successful communication and so forth. So we're very mission-centered. We believe in, like you, we believe in service. We believe in giving. Really, I'm actually a speech and language pathologist myself, but I'm also a teacher and I have a special education background and so forth. And my passion was always to help others. I picked a service field, and now I call my position as a director of a nonprofit, giving me a bigger platform to do more, serve more. We are so, as nonprofits and people like you that participate in events and things like this, it's so important what you do, because it doesn't matter what it is, but when you connect with other people who you can help and give your time, you're giving your time, you're giving your talent and your skills. I don't know how to sew a button. So these are things that really make the world round and move, as we say, because it's just so important to give what you have and always share your time and talents, whatever you do. And helping an organization like mine that directly impacts individuals who have a hearing loss it's a wow factor. Like I want you to feel part of what we do. When COVID started and all this mask wearing situation started, there were no clear masks, very few. Sometimes there were, in some cases, some hospitals, you would see the mask. They were very expensive. I remember the first box I bought was like $300 for a small box of I don't know if it was 50 masks or something, but the importance of communication, I tell you, is right here in the face. We communicate our gestures with babies. They see our smiles, they see our expressions, and adults as well, especially adults and children who have a hearing loss, rely so heavily on the other senses, which is their vision and their sense of touch. And they're reading, sometimes they lip read. Very often, actually, a deaf and hard of hearing person will oftentimes learn to lip read, in addition to if they have hearing aids or anything like that. And it's such an impact to be able to continue having that ability to, right now, anywhere you go, you can now find masks anywhere, but they're all like the type that Sophia is wearing, full coverage of the face. I'm always sad at my office when I smile at a baby and I'm like, they can't even see my smile. But anyway, long story short, I really am very grateful to you all. This is really not just about sewing a mask. This is about so much more. Sorry, I didn't shut off my phone. About so much more and making an impact in the community. And it's people like you at every level, whatever you do, you can always, my takeaway to you is it's, you can always give something and make a huge impact in the community, even if you're not directly involved with those clients and those people that need your help. So thank you all for the invite and for allowing us to share a little bit about what we do. And our office is fully operational. We follow hospital guidelines because we work in hospitals. So if any of you really felt you wanted to pass by, see our organization, learn a little bit more, I will gladly welcome you to do so. Just reach out to our office and we'll make it happen so you can learn more and actually see it. So thank you.
Hi, so thank you so much, Betty, and thank you for joining us. For everyone who might have not seen the chat, as Snow has mentioned, to access the closed captioning, please click CC at the bottom and choose Show Subtitles. And with that, I also want to introduce the other team members of Tom FIU. On here today is Isabel and Kanisha. So go ahead, Isabel.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Isabel. I am studying my master's in interior architecture at FIU. I'm in my 4th year, and I'm the Makers and Volunteers Coordinator of Tom Global FIU. So nice to meet you, and thank you for joining us for this event.
Thank you. Kanisha?
Hi, I'm Kanisha. I'm an architecture major, and this is my last year. And I'm the social media coordinator for Tom. Nice to meet everybody.
And now we also are, so as I mentioned earlier, but for anyone who jumped in, we at Tom FIU, we started partnering with Open Style Lab. And a little bit about them in a nutshell is they're incredible and they do fashion and style for people with disabilities, and they talk about accessibility with people with disabilities in the process. And so we're very excited to have them join us and talk about their work, and I'll pass it on to Kaliana.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This is actually our first workshop of the year, so we're super excited to collaborate with Tom, and we're gonna have a fun conversation about mask and how we can develop it more. So yes. All right, just a little bit of, so my name is Kalhana Ishan. I'll be your host, and so a little bit about myself is I went to Parsons School of Design and then I graduated in 2020 with my BFA in fashion design. Through Parsons, I got to meet Grace, the CEO of Open Style Lab, and I worked with her for a year, working with people with disabilities and trying to incorporate that in my personal work. And then I love the organization so much that I joined on to their fellowship of summer 2020, and we worked with MDA, trying to create life hacks to help with daily living. And then now I'm hosting the workshops. So I'm really excited to do this. All right, just a little bit about Open Style Lab is Open Style Lab makes style accessible to people of all abilities through design and technology. We're based in New York City, but through the pandemic, we have created these workshops to broaden the amount of people that we reach out, like working with people in Florida, and we're also working with people in Macedonia. So we're trying to reach a broader amount of people. Basically, Open Style Lab is trying to allow people to show their individuality through style and allowing people of all abilities to love fashion. So going with the mask, our CEO, Grace, had teamed up with the Washington Post Style at the beginning of the pandemic, where she had created these face masks that are 2 parts. The first part is made out of cloth, and then the second part is made out of vinyl. So here it shows that it's in 2 parts of which one is your liking, same protection, but the clear one is allowing you to have that, as Betty said, that like personal connection of seeing people's mouths. And this was really helpful for for people that working in the medical field, because they get to connect with their patients with hearing loss or other abilities. So we're going to have a quick icebreaker, and Yasmin is going to talk about the survey.
Hi everyone, my name is Yasmin and I'm a researcher at OpenStyle Labs. I'm also a person with a disability, and what we're doing with OpenStyle Labs is doing research on how clothing affects people with disabilities. And it would mean a lot to us if you could take a little bit of time and answer these. I think we have 6 questions on this survey. And yeah, thank you very much. Bye. I think Snow just sent it on the group chat.
Thank you, Yasmin. We'll give you guys a couple of minutes to look over the survey. This will really help us just know who's coming to our workshops, and throughout the year, we'll kind of collect and compare who's here.
So also a little bit about, as part of the research, we're bringing out monthly kind of journals about trying to bring attention about why style in clothing is important and why fashion should be accessible. And that fashion really is kind of a human right. It leaves doors open for almost job opportunities, for the way in which you're accepted in society, the way that you feel about yourself and your self-esteem. So these questions are also really helping us to understand a bit more about your relationship with clothing, and how clothing affects you on a day-to-day. And in OpenStyle Labs, it's very much in our mission to make fashion accessible, not only by creating in our workshops one-on-one pieces for people, but also educating and using this research to educate the fashion industry, make end goal of making fashion more accessible to everyone of all abilities.
Can I add something? Can I just say something here? I'm getting so excited about this because I thought it was just purely we were going to talk about masks. But I would love, and I'm not going to take your time here, but I would love to share that this is, you're opening my eyes right now, because this is such a big deal in the work that we do at my organization. I can't tell you how many parents have to constantly alter children's clothes or modify the clothes, or have specific issues with the elastics, or with the, or the pulling things over the head, or the material, the type of material. Is it too warm? Is it too cold? This is constant in my office. But, they just modify it and they do it. Now knowing you guys, I really want to continue this conversation. And I can definitely, I'm not even the expert in this. I have occupational therapists. I don't know if you know what they do, but they work, oh my gosh, my phone's down. But they work a lot with what is sensory processing, sensory integration, and a lot of children and special needs individuals, or sometimes the literal disability is physical. So they actually have to make modifications because they don't have a movement of the arm or physical ability. So anyway, I've said enough. I don't want to take up your time, but I definitely would love whoever's in charge here of that, definitely connect with me on a personal level. And whether I could do surveys for you at my office, like the one I just filled out, I would love to send that to our families. Or if you need more information or more help or more collaboration, I definitely can get you more feedback on this, because it's definitely a reality for so many different types of patients. We one of the hospitals I work in, we have children who are severely medical necessity. They have medical needs attention, so they go there every day because they either need something, and some of them are wheelchair bound, and they do have such limitation. And sometimes I find older kids wearing babyish clothes, or my brain is going like this right now. I'm thinking of so many things, but anyway, I'm open to continuing the conversation moving forward with you guys.
Thank you very much, Betty. I'll definitely reach out. Actually, this month's journal is about the importance of having occupational therapists and designers worked together on fashion from the very start. So
Wonderful.
I'll reach out to you after. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Yasmin and Betty. Those are so insightful. If you guys haven't finished the survey, you guys can maybe take a break, and then we can finish up towards the end. I'll remind you to finish up the survey. But moving along, so what is inclusive design? So the dictionary definition is makes products and environments usable by everyone regardless of age, ability, and circumstance. And this really ties into our mission as Open Style Lab and other, just trying to make things for everybody, no matter who they are. And so I think this was a great dictionary definition of inclusive design. And this goes into our next one about mask making. So we had asked that you guys, not everybody, but that we did the Anne Gates Studio mask. And I thought personally, as someone that sews, this was pretty basic and easy to follow. It had a good guideline of step-by-step how to make the window mask, compared to other window masks could be a little bit more complicated. So it's totally fine if some of you haven't made it, but I would like to show you the pattern. This is the pattern. It's a hexagon and it's split in half, and there's a couple of folding elements in it. And then it is built together with a plastic piece, a vinyl see-through piece in between, and then you add the strap to it. So just to give you an idea what the masks were going off of if you didn't have a chance to make it. So to start off the conversation, for maybe the people that did make the mask, how was your experience making the mask? This is an open discussion. It's a safe environment. So we would love to hear the feedback. And also another question that we have is what do you like and dislike about this mask? And anyone can start talking and start the discussion. I can go first. So I made the mask, and I thought, as I said in the beginning, it was pretty easy to make. But I would say that the size is a little too big for my mouth. Like, I feel like airflow would go through it, and I feel like it wouldn't be as protected as a regular face mask. So maybe adjustment of the size is what I would change. Especially on the sides, it's a little big, but yeah, that's my thoughts about it.
I made a version of this mask. Hi everyone, nice to see everyone again. I made one with the insert, but I made one without the vinyl insert, which I wear more often. So it has the same kind of shape pattern, and then you fold it with this kind of origami style. And I've made a couple of versions of these, but what I prefer the best, I don't know if you can kind of see it, it's like been washed, so it's a bit crumpled, is if you so that's it in half. If you kind of stitch along the center, then it kind of hold its shape a bit more, so it's not too crumpled on the face. I mean, it still fogs up my glasses, but yeah, that's my input.
Thank you. Yeah. Have you found a solution that, because you said that it fogs up your glasses, right? Or
Yeah, no such solution. I've had on the one with the vinyl strip, because that would kind of get really fogged up and then get wet and a bit frustrating. I haven't tried this, but I spoke to someone who rubs a bit of soap on it. I think it's like a specific type of soap. I need to find out what it is. And she says then if you do that daily, it doesn't fog up as much.
Yeah, I'll have to try that, because that's another thing I noticed was it fogs up too. Mm-hmm.
I'll see if I can find the specific type of soap, because I think it was some ingenious thing
that's
that she
the issue
found.
some of my clinicians are having. They're having the fog issue. I personally went to a meeting in person in a hospital with one, and I started like hyperventilating. I was like, so I'm not sure about that one you're making, but those are some of the things that have happened with the vinyl. So I don't know if it has an ability to have some air escape out through the sides. I'm not sure. That might make a difference for sure. And I've heard that too. I personally haven't tried it. I know my therapists have, of putting the soap. I don't know if it's a special soap. I haven't asked. And that's worked for them.
Oh, okay. Nice to know.
All right. Any more comments on this slide? Okay, we can move on. Are there any wearability challenges related to hearing disabilities you find in this mask design?
I don't see any particular.
Or maybe something that because you've worked with a lot of hearing impaired, something like what have been their comments about the window mask, something that they wanted to be changed?
Well, yes, I've actually gotten commentary, and one of them happens to be my mom, who's complaining to me all the time. She, because they wear hearing aids behind the ear, and these masks, I mean, there's really, unless you can come up with another way, but then you got to think of something of tying them up here or something. But because these usually, I don't know, I didn't see your model if it had the elastic behind the ear, but if it's that version, then a lot of my clients have lost their hearing aids taking off and on the mask. And that's a big deal because hearing aids are quite expensive. So I've just told them, I'm like, you have to get a little strap for your hearing aids. Plus you have to be super conscientious now that we're in this phase of always wearing masks. But I don't know. The only other types of, I've seen these, we've ordered all types of masks. I've seen the masks that you basically, that they have these long tie strings that they use more in hospital, like emergency rooms, and you tie them, but they're a little bit bulkier for the everyday. That's the only thing. I mean, I just think that working with the patient, working with the client, and making them more conscientious and aware that they have to check and be careful when they're pulling off the mask. But it's the only negative thing that I've seen happen.
That's good that you brought that up, because that's one of our slides.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Different types of straps. Anybody else wants to talk about the design?
On the point of ties and different sort of access around the head, I've got some masks that go over the ears, and I've got some that's got like elastic around the head at 2 points. And when it's more on my hair gets like all caught up and kind of tied in it. I have to like pull it out sometimes, which isn't ideal.
I was curious, coming from the side of anyone who personally might know this from having a hearing disability or knowing someone with a hearing disability, if since you rely on reading lips and identifying facial expressions, if the window is too small for your face, let's say for making it for the size of a child, if that interferes with like, you know, more of the experience in reading expressions. I was curious if anyone had input on that.
Well, I actually haven't seen these come in sizes for children. Maybe they do. We haven't gotten our hands on them. And that's another spectacular thing if you could do children's as well in children's sizes, because for example, the children that come to our agency specifically for speech therapy, like we teach with cueing, we're showing the mouth how to make the sound. So they absolutely need to be able to see ours, and we get to see theirs when they're producing the sounds. So that's a great thing and the need.
Yes, that's a good. Yes, I haven't seen enough, or I haven't seen anything for kids. I think people forget about kids when they're making the masks, especially the window mask too. They don't include children sizes. So, all right, let's go to the next question. How can we improve mask design to be more inclusive for people with hearing disabilities?
I personally feel that we've identified it.
Right.
Really, it's just having that ability for them to read. It's just as important. It's actually more important for the person that they're with to have the mask than them, because I hear them when they're talking and so forth. So it's really for the people that work with them or are interacting with them to have them. But I think that the visual and the way they're made, I mean, I can't think of anything else. It seems like you do have some people that are hard of hearing on the chat. I don't know, maybe they have a little more feedback.
Yes, we would love to hear everybody's comments. I think, is there another? So, all right, let's see. There's is there any other mask design that, so the window mask is the solution, but I don't know. I feel like the fogging up is probably one of the biggest problems.
I saw a mask on like TikTok of this engineer who like made a mask where it like moves, like there's lights that move with the mouth. It's pretty cool. But I think it was kind of impractical.
I personally, and I don't know, you guys are the designers and architects and so forth, but I personally, on a personal level, have been very bothered by masks like that are constantly touching my face, like the typical ones that you buy. It just bothers me. So I had my mother make me, my mother sews, I had my mother make me ones, I wish I had one here, that are pointier. They're a little bit more far away, like a little bit more like this, away from the face. And that's what I use for all my meetings, because it doesn't touch my nose or my mouth. So at least it lets me move without having that touch. But I asked my mom, are you able to make something like that with a clear, like she doesn't know how, I don't know how we would do that with the clear. And then I don't know that you would see the mouth correctly. It might be visually off. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just sharing. Obviously it's not a disability I have, but it's something that bothers me.
Right. I agree. Yes, I think the ones that are fitted to your face are really hard to talk. And like, I feel like I slur my words even more, but I prefer the ones that kind of come out a little bit more out of the face.
I've seen those, and the interesting thing is, I've seen that they put spacers along the sides actually to allow that more distance from your actual mouth. On the topic of fogging, aside from a nose wire, I am interested if other people might have more ideas on that topic, but that was a good point.
And then this kind of goes into what Ellen was talking about, was the different straps. How can we alter the strap design to make accessible for people with limited motion/dexterity? And then we have, these are what's out in the world already. So you have this kind of like plastic, the first image is like a plastic, kind of goes around your head, wearing a headband and then putting a button on it. And then the third image is having like a Velcro attachment, very similar to the first image. And then the last one is what Betty was talking about with the longer ties. So these are what's out already, but for somebody with, as Ellen was saying, like this probably get caught in her hair, like it's not very practical. What happens if someone doesn't have that much mobility in their arms? Like how would you put this on?
I've seen some people wearing like a ski mask type mask that goes all the way around your head. I don't know if above or below your ears. And again, I don't know if that's like the answer for this, because then you don't have like immediate access to your ears, and it depends on what hairstyle you have and things like that. But I think I've worn one like that, and it's like quite comfortable for me, and it's got like a nose ridge, so you can like kind of not clip it on, but it can kind of hold up, and they can look quite fashionable as well. It looks a bit less like a mask.
Mm. Has anybody?
I have the fourth image one.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's really impossible to take off unless you like untie the back, the two bottom ones, the two bottom strings. You have to untie them. Right. It's like really hard to take off.
What do you think would make it easier for you?
Probably like Velcro, maybe.
Yes, I know part of our team, Poppy, she uses the Velcro. Maybe she can talk about her experience with the Velcro.
Yeah, no, I find it a lot easier. I have the plastic option too, and I find getting that like sort of hooked in to be quite difficult, where if it's Velcro, it's sometimes I can really put it in place and just put it over my head, depending on how I feel that day. But yeah, Velcro obviously just clicks together. You're not looking for an attachment. So that's what I personally use. And then also it avoids my ears. It stretches it out, so it's not actually resting on my ears. It's sort of using the whole of my head as well. So it doesn't like trigger any migraines or anything like that too. So yeah, recommend that.
Nice, thank you for sharing. Jacob, are you, would you identify yourself with a disability?
Yes.
If you would like, could you share?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I was curious for you guys. For example, the first image, I've seen that option very often 3D printed. I have some friends that they had one and then they started 3D printing it to make it. In terms of making, like how would you guys, if you had like household items to be able to make these at home, we have a template for masks if someone doesn't have a 3D printer. Any ideas?
Sophia, could you repeat your question? Sorry.
Oh, sure. No, I was asking in terms of making for these solutions. The first one, for example, I see that a lot 3D printed. And so I'm questioning how, what other materials would you suggest, for example, I would do this at home with to be able to do, if anyone had experience with that.
Anybody from the OSL team that has more experience with 3D printing. I do not.
So I was thinking about this. Hi everyone, so from OSL. And so I think this 3D printed one has a pretty particular design with the teeth, and to make it at home, I think there's like probably like, instead of like using this very particular, 3D model and then print it, we can probably like just have existing objects, like use something that everyone already have at home, and like, so it's not exactly like a design with the teeth. I was thinking some kind of hairpin that you can like attach to your hair, or something, like a hair scarf. So it would be similar to the Velcro, but maybe not using an exact Velcro or a piece of plastic if you don't have it at home. But just use a piece of garment fabric hairband that is more accessible.
Also looking at it, my aunt had brought one of like the first image home, and if you have access to a laser cutter, or even probably like if you have like a Cricut at home or something that could cut, you could cut it in like a pretty thick not thick enough that it holds the mask, but thin enough that it's able to cut. So that's another way, an alternative way from 3D printing. Any more ideas with the straps? Like maybe your ideal, maybe these aren't practical. Okay, I think that was our last question. And we're gonna open it up to any types of questions for Tom or OSL that you had throughout the presentation. We're happy to answer them.
Hi, this is Francisca. I don't have a question right now, but I was, as we were talking about the mask fogging up, I was wondering, well, what do swimmers do? What do divers do? They must have this fogging up issue. So I was just quickly looking around online, and it looks like a hack. Somebody would have to try it as toothpaste. If you rub it around inside and then wipe it off, a lot of people online are saying that works. And then also a formula exists, an anti-fog goggle spray. So I'd be interested, if one of us tried that out to see if these actually work. But
hi, my name's Christina. They actually use something called spit. They sell it in a form of drops or sprays. The drops I heard work better, but that's what they use for their goggles.
Gotcha.
You might have to check though whether that is okay being around someone's mouth, because that's always just for eyes, and goggles don't connect to mouth or nose at all. So that would just be something to look into if you're gonna put that on the masks.
Right. Maybe the toothpaste is a better one then.
On the point of toothpaste on the mask, something that I've been thinking about a lot is smell and scent of a mask, and how if you're wearing a mask all day and you've had like coffee and stuff, if it doesn't smell very nice. Don't know if anyone's had any thought about this themselves, or
I can definitely tell that that thankfully the masks work when I can tell that like someone drops a coffee and I can't smell the coffee, but then I can also very strongly smell soap right after the mask is washed, and then that can be very like, I guess if you're not careful, if you put, let's say, too many strong chemicals for someone who might have a higher sensitivity, that can definitely be problematic.
For sure, I've actually gone to the step of like having a few masks. I've sprayed like a really like not very strong perfume on one of them, waited a couple of days, and then worn it, and it wasn't actually that bad. It wasn't like overwhelming or annoying. It kind of, you just get used to the smell after a while.
Yes, I have a friend that like puts essential oils in her mask because she's just sensitive to smell. So she'll put essential oils to kind of balance out the different smells. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I've actually seen someone wear a mask with like a beauty face mask underneath at the same time. It's like.
Do we have any more questions that you would like to ask, or comments, ideas that we didn't cover? Well, thank you so much for joining us for an hour on talking about the different types of mask and design. If you haven't already filled out the survey, we would really appreciate you doing that. And if you want to follow both of the organizations on social media to find out about future workshops, that's a great place to keep in touch and to see like what we're doing. And yes, thank you so much.
Thank you all also for the invitation and helping us with this, and just appreciative of all that you guys do. And I love the fact that, you know, when I think about style and fashion and all you people who do that, I really don't, you know, I've never linked it to the fact that you would be interested in specifically catering to all different kinds of needs and so forth. So that's really awesome. And thank you all for being so inclusive, because at the end of the day, we all have to be inclusive of everyone and everything that is needed. So I really, really appreciate, I've actually gotten so much out of this, and it's nice to be part of other parts. So thank you.
Thank you.
On one more note, I would like to, one quick thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to, one, ask for everyone if you would like to share the masks that when you make them, and for we can share it for you, and we want to obviously highlight the people who joined. And I would like finally to ask everyone if you would be all right with a group picture.
Yes.
And so anyone who would like to stay in the group picture, please keep your camera on, and I'll say smile when I have it ready. Okay, is everyone with the camera on? I'm going to assume yes. Kiliana, poor girl, has been smiling the entire time. So everyone smile, say cheese.
Cheese.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.